This is a tutorial on converting between mixed numbers and improper fractions. So today you may be given a mixed number and you'll have to turn it to an improper fraction, or you'll be given an improper fraction and you'll have to convert it to a mixed number. Converting just means changing it. So first of all, let's go over what mixed numbers and improper fractions are. So at any point in this that you want to take notes, please pause the video and write down what you need to write down. So a mixed number is any time that you have a whole number and a fraction. So mixed numbers are obviously going to be more than one whole, because usually when you have a fraction, like let's say you have 3/4, that's less than 1. That's part of a whole. But when you stick a whole number in front of it, now you have 1 3/4. That's a mixed number. We say mixed number because we have a whole number and we have a fraction. Now an improper fraction is also more than one whole. It just looks different than a mixed number. So an improper fraction is when your numerator is greater than your denominator. That's going to be more than one whole. So let's look at that. 3, our denominator is what we broke our whole into. So we broke our whole into 3 parts. Well, if we have 7 of those, here's 1, 2, 3, that's obviously going to be more than one whole, because I just colored in a whole and I've only colored in 3 of them, and I need to color in 7. So then we would do this. There's 6, break it into 3, and then there's 1 more, that's 7. So right away we can see what this would be as a mixed number. It would be 2 and 1/3. So today we're going to be going back and forth between mixed numbers and improper fractions. So if I give you a mixed number, you're going to turn it into an improper fraction, and if I give you an improper fraction, you'll turn it into a mixed number. So let's go ahead and practice a few. So we'll start with a mixed number. So we have 1 3/4, and I'm going to want you to write this as an improper fraction. So I'm not going to want a whole number in this. I'm going to want a fraction where the numerator is greater than the denominator. So if we look at this, so we know how to add fractions when they have the same denominator. We simply keep the denominator and we add the numerator together. So if we think about 1 whole, if we want to have it with a denominator of 4, we could write 1 whole as 4/4. That's the same as 1 whole. And so then if we were to put it together with our 3/4, we would have 7/4. Remember, when you add fractions, the denominator needs to be the same because we keep the denominator, and the numerator we add. So when we're doing this today, your denominators are not going to change. It's just your numerator, both ways. Improper to mixed number and mixed number to improper, keep your denominator the same. So 1 3/4 as a mixed number is the same as 7/4. Now there is another way to do that, and that is, and remember, at any time you want to pause and take notes, that would be a good idea. You can multiply remember our denominator is going to stay the same, so we can just get that ready. You can multiply the denominator by the whole number, and then you would add the numerator, and then you would put that over the denominator. That might be a good thing to take notes on as well. So 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3, the numerator, is 7/4. So denominator times the whole number plus the numerator. Or you can look at it conceptually and see that 1 is 4/4 plus the fraction we already had, and we have 7/4. Okay, let's go ahead. I actually want to do another one before we move on to going the other way. So let's take a look at 2 1/2. If you want to pause this and try to do it on your own before I go over it, that would be great. And then unpause it and you can see my explanation. So if you're going to do it on your own, pause it now. Okay, so 2 1/2. We want our numerator to be 2. So how do we turn a 2 into a fraction? Well, we can go 2/2. That's only 1 though. Remember, it's just 1 when it's one number over another number. So we can do that again. And then we can add the fraction that we already have there. And we end up with 1/2 3, 4, 5, because we're adding these. 5 over 2 would be our improper fraction. Or we have 2.5. We can go denominator times numerator, denominator times whole number plus numerator, and we put that over our denominator. Denominator does not change. So we go 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and we end up with 5 over 2. All right, so now I want to do one more of those with you doing it on your own. So I'm going to go 4 and 3/4. So go ahead and pause this one and try it on your own, and then unpause and I will go over it. Okay, so we could go 4 would be 4 over 4 plus 4 over 4 plus 4 over 4 plus 4 over 4, because each of these equals 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 plus our fraction. Our denominator doesn't change, so we add our numerators, 16, 17, 18, 19. So our improper fraction would be 19 over 4. Or we could go denominator times whole number plus numerator. And put that over our numerator, or put that over our denominator, because our denominator does not change. So we would go 4 times 4 is 16, plus 3 is 19, and we would get 19 over 4. You get a chance to practice some more of those in a little bit, but for now, let's now tackle an improper fraction and changing it into a mixed number. So anytime you want to pause and take notes on how to do this, so now we're going improper to mixed number. Okay, so this is done a little bit differently. A fraction is a division problem. So we would also read this as 5 divided by 3. So 5 divided by 3. Okay, so if we did that, that's going to be, we're going to go like this, 5 divided by 3. Now, 3 goes into 5 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract 2, nothing to bring down, so our remainder is 2. Okay, that remainder is going to be important. The answer, our quotient, becomes our whole number. Remember I told you our denominator doesn't change, so we know that 1 is our whole number, and then our remainder is our numerator. So you may want to take notes on that. Okay, so our quotient is our whole number, our denominator doesn't change, and our remainder is our numerator. So now try one on your own. Go ahead and pause it and try this. Okay, so we have 4 divided by 2. Well, 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 times 2 is 4. 0, nothing to bring down. So our quotient is our whole number. Our denominator doesn't change. Our remainder is our numerator. Now, if you have 0 as your numerator, you actually don't write your fraction. So if it goes in evenly, it's just a whole number. So the answer would be 2. 4 over 2 is the same as 2. Let's try this one. Go ahead and pause this one and try it on your own. Okay, so we have 7 divided by 5. 5 goes into 7 once. 1 times 5. We have 2. That becomes our remainder because there's nothing to bring down. Quotient is our whole number. Denominator doesn't change. Remainder is our numerator, 1 2/5. Now we can check that by going back the other way. So let's see if we remember how to do that. So 5 times 1 plus 2. 5 times 1 plus 2 is 7. denominator doesn't change. Or we can see that the 1 would be 5 over 5. We add it to our fraction, and we get 7/5. Okay, 2 and 2/7. So now we're going from mixed number to improper fraction. So we can go make our 2's into fractions, 7 over 7 plus 7 over 7. We need to do it twice because it's a 2. We want to make our denominator 7 to make it easier to add. Our denominator doesn't change. 7 plus 7 is 14, 15, 16. Or we can go 7 times 2 plus 2. Remember, denominator times numerator times whole number plus numerator. Hopefully you have that in your notes by now. Over denominator. So 7 times 2 is 14, plus 2 is 15, 16 over 17. Okay, so now what I would like you to do is pause the video and work out all 4 of these problems, and then you can unpause the video to check your work. So go ahead and pause it now. Okay, hopefully you have worked through these problems. I will quickly work through them. So 9/5, it's improper. We're changing it to mixed numbers. 9 divided by 5 once. Our remainder is 4, so our answer is 1 and 4/5. Now we're changing a mixed number into improper fraction. We can go 6 over 6 4 times, plus the 5/6. So 6 times 4 is 24, plus the 5 is 29 over 6. Or I can just go the denominator times the whole number. 6 times 4 is 24, plus the numerator, 29 over 6. All right, now we're going improper to mixed. 7 divided by 3 is 1. We have 4, remainder 4. So quotient is our whole number, remainder is our numerator. Our denominator doesn't say, whoops. Ooh, something went wrong on that one, didn't it? Let's go back on that one. I was not paying attention. All right, let's try that again. 4 goes into 7 twice. I knew that because when I got to my fraction, I still had an improper fraction because the numerator was bigger than the denominator. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract, much better. Okay, my quotient is my whole number, 2. Numerator is my remainder. Denominator is 3, and now that looks a lot better because my numerator is smaller. You can't end up with an improper fraction here, or else you're not finished. Okay, and our last one, we have 2 and 1/3. We can go make our 2 into fractions, and then add our other fraction. Don't forget about that guy. 3 plus 3 plus 1 is 7. Our denominator does not change. We get 7/3. Or we can go denominator times whole number is 6, plus 1 is 7. And there we go. And that is a not so quick tutorial on how to convert between mixed numbers and improper fractions.